While fixing the leaking water heater barefoot in ice water, I heard my wife upstairs laughing. If he gets electrocuted, we save on bills. My daughter replied, "Can I have his phone?" My son yelled down, "Don't die till the game's over, idiot." I finished, dried my feet. That night, I packed a bag. 2 weeks later, they both realized their terrible mistake. Look, 42M, never thought I'd be posting here. 15 years with Patricia, 40F, 2 kids, Sterling, 14M, and Lee, 12F. And I thought we were solid. Not perfect, but solid. Guess that shows what I know. For context, I've been working 60 plus hours weekly for years to keep us afloat in this economy. On top of that, I handle literally every home repair because, well, that's what I do. Always been good with my hands. Meanwhile, Patricia works part-time at a boutique downtown. She's always said full-time wouldn't be worth it with her skill set. Whatever. I never complained. So Friday night rolls around. I'm exhausted from a week of overtime. All I wanted was to crash on the couch, maybe watch some mindless YouTube and forget the world exists. Then I hear it. That telltale hissing from the basement. Oh, shit. I go downstairs and yep, water everywhere. The ancient water heater finally gave up the ghost. Water pooling around the concrete, seeping toward the finished part of the basement where Sterling's gaming setup is. If that gets wet, World War III in our house? It's 11:30 p.m. No way I'm getting anyone out here without paying emergency rates we can't afford. So I do what I always do, handle it myself. I shut off the water main, kill power to the heater, and grab my tool. The basement floor is freezing cold, totally flooded with like an inch of ice water. I'm too focused on stopping the leak to grab boots. So I'm standing barefoot in this freezing water, flashlight clenched in my teeth, trying to find the source of the leak and patch it enough to last until I can get parts tomorrow. Here's the thing about our house. The heating vents connect the basement to the kitchen above in this weird way, where sound travels perfectly. I've known this for years. You can hear everything, and I mean everything. I'm on my knees in this freezing water, hands cramping from the cold, when I hear laughter upstairs. Patricia's voice clear as day through the vent. If he gets electrocuted down there, at least we'd save on the electric bills. I freeze. Did I just hear that right? Then Lee, my 12-year-old, pipes up. Can I have his phone if that happens? Mine's so old. And Sterling shouting from the living room. Hey, Dad, don't die until after this game's over, idiot. I need you to drive me to Jaden's tomorrow. Then more laughter. Like it's the funniest joke ever that I might die while fixing their problem so they can have hot water. I can't even describe what that felt like. My hands went numb, and not from the cold water. My stomach dropped to my feet. 15 years together, and this is what my family thinks of me? A joke? An inconvenience? I didn't say anything. Didn't stomp upstairs and confront them. Didn't even let them know I heard. I just finished the job. Got the leak temporarily patched, cleaned up the water best I could, dried my feet, went upstairs. Patricia was on the couch scrolling through TikTok. All fixed? She asked without looking up. Yeah, I said. Should hold until tomorrow. Great, she said, still not looking at me. Remember Sterling needs to be at Jaden's by noon. I nodded, took a shower, got in bed, laid there staring at the ceiling while Patricia snored beside me. Look, Reddit, I'm not the type to make snap decisions. I've always been the steady one, the reliable one, the one who fixes everything and never complains. But something broke inside me tonight that I don't think can be fixed. I kept replaying those words over and over. My wife joking about me dying. My kids only concerned about what they could get from me or how my death would inconvenience. At 3 a.m., I got up, packed a bag with essentials, grabbed my important documents from the fireproof safe, took half the cash from our emergency fund. Exactly. Half. I counted it twice. Left my house keys and garage opener on the counter. I wrote a note. Just said, taking some time, don't contact me. Then I left. Checked into a budget hotel about 20 miles away, turned off location sharing on my phone, and just breathed. For what felt like the first time in years. The text started around 7 a.m. Patricia, where are you? Sterling needs to be at Jaden's by noon. Patricia, seriously? You're just leaving without saying anything? Patricia, the water heater is leaking again. What am I supposed to do about this? Notice something? Not one, are you okay? Or, I'm worried. Just annoyance that her handyman chauffeur wasn't available. Sterling, Dad, WTF, Mom says are gone. I need to get to Jaden's. We have a tournament. Lee, Dad, Mom's really mad. When are you coming home? It wasn't until around 2 p.m. that the tone changed. Patricia, Robert, this isn't funny anymore. Come home so we can talk about whatever is bothering you. Patricia, hello? At least tell me you're safe. Patricia, I'm getting worried. Please just text back. Too little, too late. I turned my phone off, went to the front desk and paid for a week in advance. Then I sat on the bed and let myself really think about the last few years. How long has it been since anyone in that house showed me basic respect, appreciation, actual love? How many times have I killed myself working overtime, then stayed up till midnight fixing things around the house while they all slept? How many of Sterling's games have I sat through in the rain after working 12-hour shifts? How many times has Patricia bought something expensive for herself while telling me we needed to cut back? Here's the thing. I'm not even angry. I'm just done. I'm tired of being taken for granted. I'm tired of being the family joke. I'm tired of giving everything and getting nothing back. So here I am, in a crappy hotel with scratchy sheets, eating vending machine chips for dinner. And you know what? It's still better than being somewhere I'm not valued. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if this marriage is salvageable. But I do know that something has to change, because I can't go back to being the person they laugh about dying while he's fixing their problems. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe it was just a joke. But some jokes reveal the truth, don't they? Tomorrow, I'm going to call a buddy to see if I can crash at his place for a while. Then I need to figure out next steps. But for tonight, I'm going to enjoy the silence. Oh, and the water heater? That temporary fix I did won't hold for long. Let's see how they handle home repairs without their personal handyman around. Call it petty, but sometimes people only value what they no longer have. Update. Did not expect my first post to blow up like that. RIP my inbox. Thanks for all the support, advice, and awards. Never thought thousands of internet strangers would have my back when my own family didn't. It's been 2 weeks since I walked out. Currently at one of those extended stay motels, the kind with the kitchenette that always smells vaguely of old microwave popcorn, no matter how much you air it out. Not exactly living the high life, but it's peaceful. No one asking me to fix stuff, drive them places, or pay for things while simultaneously treating me like I'm disposable. Look, a lot of you asked what my game plan was. Honestly, that first night, I had no clue. I just knew I needed space. But after reading your comments and thinking things through, I realized I needed to be strategic about this. So here's what's gone down in the past 2 weeks. First thing I did was call my bank, moved my portion of our savings to a separate account. I didn't clean out joint accounts. I'm not trying to be vindictive, just protecting myself. Left enough in there for Patricia to handle immediate bills. Then I canceled all our joint credit cards. Not to be petty, but because I was the primary account holder on all of them and responsible for payment. Called and explained the situation. Got them to issue me new cards only in my name. Found out Patricia had been racking up quite a balance on our joint card. $347 at some boutique last week after I left. Guess the "we need to cut back" rule doesn't apply to her shopping habits. I've kept paying our mortgage and the kids' school-related expenses. Everything else? That's on Patricia now. Netflix, music subscription, the premium cable package, Sterling's gaming subscription, Lee's dance classes. All that stuff comes out of what Patricia earns at her part-time job now. Or not, as the case may be. The texts and calls have evolved in a pretty predictable way. Days 1. 3. Pure anger. How dare I just leave? Who do I think I am? I'm being childish and dramatic. It was just a joke. God, can't I take a joke? Days 4. 7. Confusion mixed with more anger. The water heater completely failed. Shocker. They had to call an emergency plumber who charged them $650 for what would have taken me 3 hours and about $150 in parts. Sterling missed his precious tournament because Patricia couldn't figure out how to get his gaming PC working again after a power surge. The kitchen sink got clogged. The lawn needs mowing. Basic adulting stuff they apparently never noticed I was handling. Days 8. 10. Panic mode engaged. Patricia finally noticed the credit card declined, then checked the bank account, then realized all those automatic payments weren't so automatic anymore. This led to approximately 27 increasingly frantic voice messages, ranging from screaming to crying to attempting to sound reasonable. Here's the thing about Patricia. In 15 years of marriage, she's never had to worry about our finances, not because I'm controlling, but because she never wanted to deal with it. Numbers stress me out, she'd say. Well, surprise. Numbers are pretty important when you're an adult. Day 11 is when things got interesting. Patricia showed up at my workplace. Yeah, showed up screaming about how I'm financially abusing her and the kids, making a whole scene in front of everyone. I just calmly walked her outside and pulled out my phone. Remember in my first post how I mentioned the weird vent system that carries sound perfectly? Well, what I didn't mention is that after hearing them that night, I had a suspicion this wasn't the first time they'd talked about me like that. So a few days before the water heater incident, I'd put my old phone down there recording when I was fixing a different issue. I played the recording for Patricia. Not just the water heater comments, but other gems like Patricia telling the kids that Dad's too stupid to realize how much I spend on my skincare. Sterling calling me a try-hard loser for attempting to bond with him over his games. Lee and Patricia laughing about how I actually thought that Father's Day gift was special. It was a mug I cherished that said "World's Best Dad." Apparently, they bought it at the dollar store as an afterthought. The look on her face. I won't lie, it was satisfying. First denial, I must have edited it somehow. Then the classic, it was taken out of context defense. Then, we were just joking around. I just asked her, would you joke about anyone else dying like that? Your mother? Your best friend? A coworker? Or just the person who keeps your entire life functioning? She didn't have an answer for that. Sterling's been texting too. At first it was pure teenage rage. I'm ruining everything. His gaming rank is dropping, the Wi-Fi keeps cutting out, and I'm not there to reset it, blah blah blah. But yesterday, different tone. Apparently the new reality is setting in. Patricia told him he needs to sell his gaming rig to help with bills. That got his attention real quick. Lee's messages break my heart. She's 12 and clearly repeating what Patricia tells her to say. But sometimes the real Lee slips through. Like when she texted asking if I remembered how to make the special pancakes I used to do on Saturdays. Or asking if I left because she forgot to put her dishes in the dishwasher too many times. I've been seeing a financial advisor and talked to a lawyer. Not filing for divorce yet. That's a massive step I'm not ready to take. But I needed to understand my options. Patricia finally realized she needs a full-time job ASAP. 15 years of part-time retail doesn't exactly make for an impressive resume in this economy. She's been complaining to anyone who'll listen about how impossible the job market is and how unfair it is that she has to work full-time now. Meanwhile, I've been working 60-plus hours a week for our entire marriage. Oh, and Patricia's mother got involved. Showed up at my motel somehow. Pretty sure Patricia tracked my credit card usage. Started with the typical, how dare you abandon your family speech, until I played her the recording too. Amazing how quickly her tune changed. Now she's telling Patricia she raised her better than that and should be ashamed of herself. Look, I'm not trying to destroy my family. I'm really not. But for years, I've been treated like a walking ATM handyman combo with no feelings, no value beyond what I provide. Maybe this financial reality check will help them understand what they've taken for granted. Yesterday, I had a package delivered to the house. Just some basic plumbing and electrical repair manuals. No note, no explanation needed. Sometimes I wonder if I'm being too harsh. Then, I remember standing barefoot in that freezing water, hearing my wife joke about me dying, and my kids only concerned about what they could get from me or how my death would inconvenience, and the doubt fades. I don't know what happens next. Patricia's been asking to meet and talk things through like adults. Part of me wants to. Part of me isn't ready. I still have moments where I miss them so bad it hurts. They're my family, you know? 15 years isn't nothing, but I deserve better. And maybe they needed this wake-up call to realize that. Final update. Well, Reddit, it's been a wild ride. First off, thanks for all the DMs checking if I'm still alive. Sorry for ghosting. Been dealing with everything. Last time we spoke, I was living in that sketchy extended stay, eating microwave ramen and trying to figure out what the hell to do with my life. It's been a month since I walked out after hearing my family joke about me getting electrocuted in our basement. A lot has happened. Grab some popcorn, this is going to be a long one. So the day after my last post, Patricia texted asking for a family meeting, not demanding anymore, asking. Said the kids needed to see me, said they all had things they wanted to say. I almost ignored it, but they're still my family, you know? 15 years isn't something you just flush. I agreed, but on my terms. Public place, neutral ground. I suggested that coffee shop near the library, the one with those private corner booths where you can actually hear each other talk. I also told Patricia I'd be recording the conversation. Non-negotiable. After everything that's happened, I wanted a record. She agreed. When I walked in, I almost didn't recognize them. Not physically. They hadn't transformed into different people in a month. But their energy was different. Sterling wasn't glued to his phone for once. Lee's eyes were puffy like she'd been crying. Patricia looked tired. Really tired. The kind of bone-deep exhaustion I've felt for years. Here's the thing about seeing your family after a month apart. All those practice speeches go right out the window. I had this whole cool, detached monologue planned. Instead, my throat got tight and I just sat down without saying anything. Awkward doesn't begin to cover it. Sterling spoke first, which shocked me. My son, Mr. Too Cool to Acknowledge Dad Exists, actually initiated conversation. He started with typical teenage defense mode, mumbling, not making eye contact, fidgeting with his hoodie strings. But then he said something that floored me. He told me he tried to fix the garage door opener last week, watched some YouTube tutorials, thought it would be easy, ended up breaking it worse and slicing his hand open on the track. Needed 5 stitches. Then he held up his bandaged palm and said he never realized how much stuff I fixed around the house until suddenly I wasn't there to do it. Said he always thought that stuff was easy, simple, not worth appreciating. Lee went next. She handed me a notebook. Inside was a list she'd been keeping. Things Dad does that we never notice. Pages of stuff. Everything from fixes wobbly chairs to remembers to buy the right cereal to checks if windows are locked before bed. Little things, invisible things, the background maintenance of life that no one sees until it stops happening. Well, Patricia was a mess. Not the put-together woman who always had her nails done and never a hair out of place. She looked like I felt during those 60-hour work weeks, hollow-eyed, shoulders slumped. She'd gotten a full-time job at a local store. The hours were rough, the pay was less than ideal, and suddenly she was handling everything I used to do on top of that. She told me their hot water heater broke again. The plumber quoted $3,000 for a replacement. The dishwasher stopped draining. The internet kept cutting out. The lawn was overgrown because the mower wouldn't start. Sterling's gaming PC got a virus. Lee's bike chain broke. The bathroom sink was leaking. The smoke detector kept chirping at 3 a.m. The list went on and on and on. All those little things I handled without complaint, without recognition. They'd piled up into an avalanche that was burying my family. I didn't gloat, didn't say, "I told you so," just listened. Then I laid out my terms. If, and it was a big if, we were going to try to salvage this family. Things needed to change, permanently, not just for a few weeks until everything blew over. Family counseling, weekly, non-negotiable. Sterling gets a weekend job to pay for his own gaming stuff. Patricia maintains full-time employment. We're a partnership, not a sponsorship. A documented chore schedule for everyone, including basic home maintenance training for both kids. Joint financial decisions with complete transparency. A written and signed agreement acknowledging all of the above. I expected pushback, arguments, excuses. Instead, I got acceptance, nodding, even relief, like they were grateful for the structure, for the clarity of expectations. That was 3 months ago. I didn't move back right away. Needed to see actual change, not just promises. So we started with the counseling, found a therapist who didn't take sides but didn't let anyone off the hook either. Those first few sessions were rough. Lots of uncomfortable truths. Sterling admitted he'd been embarrassed by me trying to connect with him over his games because his friends thought I was cringe. Lee confessed she copied her brother and mom's behavior because she thought that's what cool families did. Patricia had to face some hard truths about how she'd treated me, how she'd taken advantage, how she'd modeled disrespect for the kids. Meanwhile, life at home continued to fall apart in small, annoying ways. The final straw was when their fridge died, with a full load of groceries inside. Patricia called me in tears, not demanding I fix it, just overwhelmed. I went over to help. Walking into that house was weird AF. It looked different, felt different. Messier, yes, but also like they were actually living there now instead of just expecting the house to magically maintain itself, aka me maintaining it. Sterling was actually trying to fix the fridge when I arrived, had tools spread out, a YouTube video paused on his tablet. He'd figured out the problem clogged condenser coils, but didn't have the right tools or knowledge to fix it safely. Instead of taking over, I showed him how, guided him through it. The look on his face when that fridge hummed back to life, worth more than any world's best dad mug. Lee had been keeping up with the chore chart they'd created. Her room was clean. She'd done the dishes without being asked. Small victories, but they felt huge. Patricia had changed the most. Working full-time had given her a new perspective on what I'd been dealing with all these years. She'd started cooking actual meals again, not just ordering takeout. She'd set up a proper budget spreadsheet on her laptop. She'd even fixed a leaky faucet herself. Didn't do it perfectly, but she tried. 2 weeks ago, I moved back in. Not to the same situation, to a new one, with clear, written agreements about how our household runs, with scheduled family meetings to check in, with separate and joint finances so I maintain some independence. It's not perfect. Sterling still has moments of teenage attitude. Lee still forgets her chores sometimes. Patricia and I are still rebuilding trust. That's going to take time. But they're trying. Really trying. Last weekend I was fixing the back deck steps. Sterling came out without being asked and held the boards while I worked. Didn't complain once about missing game time. Even asked questions about what I was doing. This morning, I found a note on the kitchen counter next to my coffee mug. From Patricia. Not some grand declaration of love or elaborate apology. Just, water bill is on the desk. I already paid half from my account. Thanks for fixing the toilet yesterday. Small thing. Huge meaning. Is our marriage saved? IDK. That's still TBD. But our family? Yeah, I think we might make it after all. The lesson here wasn't just for them to appreciate me. It was for me too. To value myself enough to demand that appreciation. To set boundaries. To require respect. Sometimes people don't realize what they have until it's gone. But sometimes they get a chance to get it back, if they're willing to earn it.